Are you wondering what happened to Katy Perry's right eye in one of her recent shows in Las Vegas that left her fans and everyone else so curious? In this video, I'm going to explain what a lot of people thought it meant and what Katy immediately said about it on social media and why I don't agree necessarily based on my own theory from an eye doctor's perspective coming up. Hey everyone, it's me, Dr. Aaron Smith, and something happened recently during a live performance in Las Vegas that left Katy Perry's fans wondering if she was healthy or if she was going through some sort of serious health scare on stage. Let's take a look at what happened. So here's what happened. While Katy was on stage, her right eye completely closed while her left eye stayed completely open and totally unfazed. When this happens, it's also called intermittent ptosis. So her eye stayed shut for a couple of seconds and opened back up after she appeared to touch her right temple. This happened a few different times in just a few second time period with all eyes on her. Each time her right eye closed, she had to touch her right temple area to make her eye open back up. I personally don't believe this was just a party trick, but before I go over that, let's talk about what we know about what the singer has said about her own eyes in the past, and then we'll go over some things that a lot of people have said it was right after it happened. So Katy has already mentioned in the past that she has a wonk eye, and she said that it's her right eye. She actually mentioned that to an American Idol contestant to console him after he admitted to wearing a large hat to cover his lazy eye that he was self-conscious of. And looking back over some pictures of Katy Perry, we can see that if you look very close, her right eye is always open slightly more than her left eye. How wide the eye opens is called the palpebral fissure width. And Katy Perry fans have obviously noticed this for years and have even made a specific fandom for her quote-unquote wonk eye. We also know in the past that Katy has actually collapsed on stage during a live performance in Nashville, which may provide some evidence as to why this took place or may be completely unrelated. The first theory is that she has a type of Bell's palsy. First of all, Bell's palsy is usually something that affects the entire right half of the face. So instead of just seeing an eyelid droop shut, you'll notice an entire side of the face droop, with only one side of the face able to perform normal functions like smiling while the other side cannot. Another thing that can happen with Bell's palsy is that the upper eyelid droops, but so does the lower eyelid, preventing the eye from being able to close at all oftentimes, causing the surface of the eye to go through serious dryness that can lead to a terrible condition called exposure keratopathy. Clearly this is not what took place with Katy Perry's eye. Not only that, but Bell's palsy isn't intermittent, meaning the face changes would not be working one moment and then not working the next. Katy would not have been able to trade off opening and then closing her eyes over and over again in a small period of time. Bell's palsy can take weeks to resolve and can have permanent side effects. One possible side effect is called aberrant regeneration. That just means that when the facial nerve repairs the damage and tries to re-innervate the muscles in the face, they end up innervating in a different way, and that can cause the eye muscles in the face to work differently after the classic signs of Bell's palsy resolve. So for example, before Bell's palsy, a person may have always smiled normally, but after Bell's palsy has resolved, whenever the person smiles, one eye may want to wink shut during the smile. That being said, I would rule out Bell's palsy because usually Bell's palsy affects the entire side of the face and not just the upper eyelid. But there is some chance that aberrant regeneration of the orbicularis oculi muscle around the eye could be playing a role in what happened. Of course, some individuals have been calling this Pfizer eye or Bell's palsy caused by the recent popular vaccine people have been getting. But again, to me, whether or not you believe that Pfizer eye is a real thing or not, this doesn't look like Bell's palsy to me at all. The next theory is that she had a stroke on stage, but if it were a stroke, I really feel like we would have seen some more obvious signs. Some of those signs may have been slurred speech or slurred singing in this case, some sort of other muscle paralysis on one side of her body, and some sort of imbalance, which as far as I can see from the videos was not there. A lot of Katy's fans also said that she was paralyzed during the show for a period of time. Now again, if paralysis was taking place, then usually we see that paralysis staying somewhat permanent, at least for a period of time other than just a few seconds at a time. For me, paralysis usually implies something that's not intermittent. Blepharospasm is another theory which does make some sense because blepharospasm does cause one or both eyes to want to close tightly. Usually we see it take place on both sides though, but there have been cases where the muscles around the eyes clench and one eye closes a little bit more than the other. But if we were going to see blepharospasm, we'll often see other things, like wrinkles form around the eyes when the eyes want to close shut, due to those muscles around the eyes really clenching down. In this case, we don't see any excessive clenching of the muscles around the eyes. In fact, during the event, Katy's eyes looked totally relaxed, including the orbicularis oculi muscle. So for those reasons, I would rule out blepharospasm, which is a condition where the use of Botox can help relax the muscles around the eyes that are causing the spasm, and in fact is the drug of choice for blepharospasm because of how effective it is with this condition. Hemifacial spasm is another possibility, but again, we're not seeing other parts of the face on that same side being affected or clenching in any way, so I wouldn't personally say that hemifacial spasm is taking place. Eyelash glue not being completely dry, or the weight of the eyelashes, were some reasons that a lot of people were mentioning in the comments as to why this may have taken place. If it were wet eyelash glue, then you would think it would have dried by the time of the event though, unless a chunk of dried glue or an eyelash was turned in, scraping the surface of the eye when she blinked, causing a reflex closing of the eye. But if something were scraping the eye, then that eye probably would have been a little red and watering or tearing up, and it was not clearly red or tearing. And on top of that, both eyes probably would have wanted to close at the same time, unless Katy felt the irritation or pain on the right, but was trying to hold both eyes open for the show, and the right eye for some reason overpowered her trying to keep both eyes open, and the right eye still ended up closing. But I don't think this is the case again because there's no evidence of redness, tearing, or watering eyes. The next theory is that she has an eye condition called ocular myasthenia gravis, or OMG, which is an autoimmune disorder that often presents with double vision and droopy eyelids, also called ptosis. But when looking back at the clip, I didn't see something called Cogan's lid twitch, which means that when Katy looks downward, both eyelids go down together. But when Katy looks up again, her eyelid on the right would have noticeably fluttered or twitched before drooping back down lower than the left. I watched the video very close and didn't notice this at all, but I still would not completely rule out ocular myasthenia. Another theory is that Katy might get Botox treatment to prevent wrinkles in the future, and whoever did the injection hit the levator muscle near her brow, went a little too deep, and caused her eyelid to droop. I don't think this is the case either, because her eyelid would have been drooping earlier in the show most likely, and also after the weakening eyelid event took place. Okay, check this out. If we take a close look at some of the photos of Katy's eyes over the years, and we look very close, we can see that the left eye is always opened up smaller than her right. And you may have heard over the years that symmetry is beauty. Well, for cosmetic reasons, Katy might be using a drug called Upneeq that has the effect of temporarily reducing ptosis and opening the eye wider. One of the most convenient times for her to use this drug would be during a show or event like this. So it's possible, and Katy is a girl of many talents, that using Upneeq during her shows has two benefits. One, it opens her left eye up wider to match the right. It also makes it easier for her to close the right eye without closing the left in some sort of party trick. So I'm narrowing it down to two things. One, Upneeq, broken doll party trick, and two, ocular myasthenia gravis, or OMG. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Maybe myself and other healthcare professionals are just totally wrong, and this was just her robot clone having an eye glitch or eye malfunction. Ultimately, Katy Perry did respond in a statement on social media where she took it real lightly and implied that it was a party trick, which I think gave her fans a lot of relief. And if you like this video and want to know what's going on with the pop star Justin Bieber's eye, then you'll definitely want to watch my next video where I'll go over exactly what's taking place, and I'll see you in the next video.